NBA 2K26 has been out for a few weeks, so in this video, I want to go over recommended builds. I'm not going to do this for every position, just the most popular ones. So we're going to get it started with center. In the comments below, let me know what you're thinking about NBA 2K26. I will be using my builds, other creators' builds, and NBA 2K Labs for references in this video. So let's go ahead and get into the center builds that are dominating NBA 2K26.
If you aren't already, don't forget to follow Dman UNT 2014 on Twitter.
So the first center build is kind of like a hybrid because it's a 6'11" power forward that can finish a little bit and it can shoot. This particular build will excel at the park as a big for sure. I feel like it's fast enough. If you take it to fives, it will most likely play the 4 as it should, because for this build, we're going power forward, 6'11" height, 213 weight, and 6'11" wingspan. So you'll really want to get down there, box out for your center, do the dirty work. You know what I mean? You may not get all the rebounds with this build, but you'll definitely get a good amount, and you can help your center get some too. So before we get into it, we're going to go over to the physicals. Once again, this is a 4 build in 5s, and you can take it out to the park. So we're going to go ahead and put the speed at 79. Once again, using NBA 2K Labs for a reference, code Dman. And we're going to put the agility at 72. So for a bid, this build is pretty quick. That's why I say if you want to take this to the park as a bid, you can do that. I know the 7'4s are running rampant, but this build can still shoot over people. For strength, I'm not going to lie to you, it might be the con of this build. It's pretty low at 72. But once again, you're playing the 4. Your center will be doing most of the dirty work. You just have to help out a little bit on the boards. So the strength is at 72. You do get bronze brick wall. For the vert, we are going 80. You're going to get gold pogo. So moving over to finishing, this build is going to be more offensive than most center builds. So close shot, we're going to put it at 86. That's going to give you hook specialist. You can see float game, which is really good on NBA 2K26, went up to gold. For driving layup, you don't need it too high, so we're going to put it at 75. Something really light. Once again, if you're on a big and you're slipping to the basket with this build, you're not necessarily activating the driving layup. You're activating the close shot, which is why the close shot is so high. If you want to dunk, you can put the driving dunk at 87. That's going to give you silver posterizer, which is still really good on NBA 2K26. Once again, posterizer isn't just for contact dunks, it's for going up while people are in the paint. We're going to leave standard dunks and post control at 72 and 61 respectively. If you're wide open, you can meter dunk, of course. But once again, the strength in this build is in the shooting, not necessarily the finishing, but we still get some pretty good dunks. So let's go ahead and move on to the shooting, because not only will you be able to pick and roll with this build, but you can also pick and pop. And that's why I like this build. You know, it's super versatile. It can get a lot of things done. So the mid range, we're going to put it at 91, really high. That's going to give you gold shifty shooter. Shifty shooter is incredibly OP on NBA 2K26. It's definitely a fun badge to have, damn near a must have. For the 3-point shot, we're going to put it at 90. That's going to give you gold shooting badges like set shot specialist. And it will also give you access to takeovers like Deep Bomber. Deep Bomber on a 6'11", super OD. And by the way, I just want to preface this by saying these builds are simply templates. I'm not saying you should make these builds by any means. Just kind of adjust it to your liking. I also understand everybody doesn't have 5+ cap breakers like I do right now, so these builds will be pretty good right out the gate. For the pass act, since it's a power forward, we're going to make it pretty high, but not too high, because I imagine the center will still be getting most of the rebounds. So we're going to put our pass act at 80. That would get you your silver dimer. For ball handle, we're going 70. That would get you your bronze unpluckable. But on NBA 2K26, it's not like you need unpluckable anyway. But if you want to be 6'11" and you want to move with the ball a little bit, this build is perfect for that. For the speed with ball, we're going 68. That will top you off at bronze lightning launch. Once again, you'll be able to move with this build a little bit at the 4 spot, which is something I like doing. I like my power forwards to be pretty offensive heavy, because once again, we play team defense and the center will hold down the paint. I like my power forwards to just be able to glue everything together. So for interior, we're going 74. You get bronze post lockdown. For perimeter defense, it's going to be pretty high. You never know if you have to play back end or have to switch. Now, I'm not saying this is the back end build by any means. I'm just saying if you have to play in that pick and roll, if you have to, you'll be okay. So 71 perimeter defense, that'll get you bronze challenger. For the steal, we're going 67. And I mean, at this point, I'm putting 67 on all of my builds because once again, people aren't getting plucks. But that will get you bronze glove, and you'll also be able to get bronze interceptor. So once again, not a back end build by any means, but if you have to defend the pick and roll, you might be able to take a pass out the air. So for the block, we're going 88. You get gold high flying denier, and honestly, this is for contesting those 7-4s, bro. If you're 6'11", you have to have block to contest the 7-4s because they will be out there, and if you don't know, your contest is tied to your block rating. So yeah, with this 88 block, I need you to guard them 7-4s and jump at them so they don't go crazy. For the defensive rebounding, we're going to put this at 80. I think 80 is a good spot for this particular build. Once again, we're playing the 4. I hope this particular build doesn't get put at the 5, but if you're playing big in a park, I think 80 is a sweet spot. If you're playing the power forward and 5s, 80 is definitely a good spot. When a shot goes up, I need you to get down to the paint, throw some ass, put a body on somebody, and box out. Silver rebound chaser is really good in my opinion. Same with silver box out beast. If you want to max +1 it or max +2 it, that's an option also. So if you haven't unlocked custom takeover, you really have a lot of options with the 6'11 build. Once again, we do have the ability to use Deep Bomber, and Deep Bomber is a really good takeover ability. It might be the second best in the game next to Blur, because right now Blur is really OP, but obviously we can't get Blur on this build. So since this is a more offensive power forward build, I would recommend Deep Bomber. Another option is Dishmaster. Now, we've been using Dishmaster lately. I've been playing with centers using this takeover ability, and it is extremely good. If they get a D board, throw it down court on the break, contest or not, it's going in 100%. If they get an O board, kick it back out, it's going in 100%. Dishmaster is a really good takeover, and I don't see a lot of people using it, but I say check it out, man. It's a really good badge in my opinion. So here we go. We have the Rim Rocking Stretch Eraser, a really good bid for the park because it's quicker and it's offensive heavy, and 2K26 is an offensive game. You get gold shifty shooter, gold set shot specialist, and gold float game. I will say if they put you at the 5, like if you're playing random break or something, you might get bullied a little bit, but for the most part, if they put you at the 4, you're going to excel with this build. So let's say you want a more traditional center. I got you on that too. So let's go with a traditional center, a big body Miyagi. This center is going to be 7 feet tall, 256 pounds, and have a 7'6" wingspan. So yeah, it's more defensive minded. And if you want to be able to shoot, the ability to apply cap breakers will always be there. You have to keep that in mind. Cap breakers will make or break a build. Now, once again, with these particular builds, I'll probably show one of my builds that I made with cap breakers in mind, but with these particular builds, you'll be good to go right out the gate. So let's go ahead and get to the stats on this traditional center build. Once again, it's only a template. You can change this however you want. You know, you can put attribute points however you want. This is just what's taking over 2K right now. I'm making this video because I was looking up center builds because I have a center in the tuck that y'all will see soon. So for the close shot, kind of low. We're going 75. I do like high close shot on my center builds. But once again, this is really a big body Miyagi build. You're getting rebounds. You're playing defense. Your point guard is probably 3-point honey. So you have to have a lot of strength to set those screens. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and do the physicals before I forget. I like to do physicals first. So we're a little bit slower. We're at a 67 speed, 54 agility. But the strength is going to go up to a 90. So once again, you can box out, you can set screens, you can do whatever you need to do to get your point guard open. For the stand and dunk, we're going up to a 90. And honestly, from my experience on NBA 2K26, 90 might be OD. You do get gold rise up, but I've been having a lot of success with 81 stand and dunk. So it's really up to you. And as always, once you get cap breakers, if you want to be able to finish better, you can apply cap breakers to your finishing. If you want to be able to shoot better, you can do the same thing. As of right now, our shooting stats are relatively low compared to a popper. We can shoot the 3-ball though. That 78 3-ball is enough if you know your timing. So with this particular build, you're getting down and dirty, right? You're playing defense, you're getting rebounds, Your finishing is okay, your shooting is okay, but you're really the traditional center. You can roll to the basket really strong, and you can get the standard dunk to go if you're wide open. But at this point in 2K, I like my centers to be able to shoot a little bit. So we have the 78-3 silver set shot specialist, not bad at all. For the pass act, we're going up to 87. Your center needs to be able to throw those outlet passes, man. Simple as that. A lot of y'all think I'm selling because my pass act is low on my scoring builds, but with guard builds, and this is just how NBA 2K plays, with guard builds, you can get away with a low pass act. On center builds, oh, no. I need that thing at 87 or higher. Our ball handle is pretty low, our speed with ball is pretty low, but we make up for everything on defense. All right, so interior defense, we're going up to an 80. Perimeter defense, we're going to lock it in at a 62. You probably won't be on the perimeter too often, so you probably don't even need it this high, but something like perimeter is always good to have. For steal, we're going at 60. That's going to get you bronze interceptor. Once again, just in case you end up in the back end, which I wouldn't recommend with this build, but things happen, right? You might be able to get a passing lane still. Also, we're going to take the block to 88. Once again, block is tied to your contest, so if you have to jump at a 7-4, you will be able to contest them a little bit. Not only that, but you get gold high flying deniers, shut the paint down, try to block some dunks, try to block some layups. That paint can't be sweet, especially if you're a 7-footer. So I think that 88 is a good sweet spot. So we all know rebounding is all about positioning and badges. So we're going to go 94 offensive rebounding because it's cheap, get you Hall of Fame box out beast. We also have gold rebound chaser. You can always use a max +1 or a max +2 on these so you can save some attributes. For the defensive rebounding, it's going to be a little bit lower, but once again, it's all about positioning and it's all about having high badges. So don't be too worried about the people that went with like the 99 D board and stuff like that. You can still horse them. You can still grab rebounds over them 100%. But if you want, you can always flip these attributes and do what you need to do with them. For the rest of it, I play fives, so we're going to put the free throw up. But if you don't play fives, you can also just throw the rest of this on defensive rebounding and be good. So this build is the shot erasing Dman dunker. It rolls to the basket hard, set bit body Miyagi screens. It can shoot the three. If you learn your jump shot, that 78 3 ball is no joke. You can spark up with it. As for takeover, I didn't show takeover because it's pretty much the same thing. I do enjoy Dishmaster, but I also recommend Rim Guardian so you can shut down the paint. I think Rim Guardian is a great takeover also. So this is a really fun build. Once again, these are builds where you don't have to necessarily worry about cap breakers just yet because we're only 3 weeks in. I know people will tell you, oh man, you need to make a build for cap breakers so it'll be good a few seasons down the line. I feel like a few seasons down the line, everybody will have a new build. And they'll have more cap breakers than they have now. You feel me? You can get crazy with the cap breakers, but once again, these are builds that you can just level up and hoop on right out the gate. So for the last one, you know I had to show you a 7-4, man. The 7-4 center has caused a bunch of conversation on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, just everywhere. The crazy thing is, I don't even think the build is the problem. It's just more so the contest system. The pros of the 7-4 center, obviously being able to shoot over anybody. Also, the animations you get are kind of crazy. You can get Michael Porter Jr. on a 7-4. That's insane. We can have an 89-3 on a 7-4. That's insane. But this build also has a good amount of cons also. For example, is speed, rebounding. So in that case, is the build the problem or is the game the problem? Either way, a lot of people are using 7-4s. So I'll show you a couple 7-4 builds. I'll show you the one from NBA 2K Labs, and then I'll show you the one I made, which is more so a cap breaker build. So for your close shot, we're going to start at an 84. That's going to get you Paint Prodigy on silver. Paint Prodigy works really well on NBA 2K26. For the drive and layup, we're going with a 70. Drive and dunk is going to be relatively low compared to the other centers, mainly because with this build, you're not really a center. You're not really stepping in the paint. You're 7-4 for a reason. You're strictly looking to shoot over people. So your drive and dunk or your paint presence in general is going to be kind of low, man. No lie. For the stand and dunk, it's really up to you. You can go 81, you can go 83, you can take it up to 90. But either way, you want to be able to activate the dunk meter on the stand and dunk. My bad, I keep forgetting to do the physicals first. I like to do them first on these build videos, but the physicals on this build aren't that impressive. Once again, the 7.4 build is super slow. 55 speed, 42 agility, and that's maxed out. Cap breakers are not saving this build. For the strength, we're going 86, and for the vert, we're going 66. So you can see we pick up a couple silver badges, not anything too crazy. I mean, we have a silver brick wall, which is okay, but if you're playing center, you definitely want to have a higher brick wall. We also have a silver rise up. Silver rise up actually works pretty well, but once again, that's a badge you want to have higher if you're a bigger build. That's why I say, yeah, the 7.4s are running rampant on NBA 2K26 right now, but the build isn't really the problem. It's more so the gameplay, because these builds have a bunch of pros and cons. So get into the shooting. This is definitely one of the pros of a 7.4 build. For shooting, we'll have an 88 mid-range. For our three-point shot, we'll max it out at 89. And honestly, 89 is more than enough. We have gold set shot specialist. If you want to use your badge perks on this, man, you're going to have that Hall of Fame set shot specialist, as well as a higher dead eye. So people will really have a hard time contesting you. For pass act, we're going to put the pass act really high. We're going to have it at 93. So we're going to have Hall of Fame dimer and Hall of Fame break starter, which is perfect because if you get a rebound on this build, you want to be able to launch it down court and you want your teammates to be able to catch it cleanly. For ball handle, we're going to 65. And this is interesting because the 7.4 builds actually have a couple of good animations if we're talking about dribbling. I'm not a dribbler, but I've seen people get into their bag on a 7.4 build, which is insane. Defensively, we have to do something so we're able to hold our own. Interior, we're going to put that at an 82. We'll max out the perimeter at 58, even though it doesn't really do a lot for us. For the block, we're going 84. So we're able to pick up some defensive badges. We have silver paint patroller and post move lockdown. But once again, if you come across that knows what he's doing, it might get kind of bad for you. That's why the 7.4 builds are kind of crazy, especially when we get to the offensive and defensive rebounding. So we're going to pretty much match these out. Offensive rebounding, 85. Defensive rebounding, 90. And you're going to need all of that 90 when you go against those 99 O-board demons or those 99 D-board demons. But either way, the 7.4 builds are pretty good on NBA 2K26. I'm not going to lie to you. Not even pretty good. They're really good, especially in the hands of a good player. They know how to pump fake. They know how to get open every single time. And I see why people are talking about them a lot. It's just when it comes to being the actual center, that's where it gets kind of questionable. But once again, nobody makes 7.4 builds to be an actual center. They just want to shoot over people. And by they, I mean me. I have a 7.4 in the tuck. Be on the lookout for that. So this is a 7.4 build, the pick and pop glass visionary. Super solid when it comes to shooting and offense, even throwing outlet passes if you get the board. Just know you might get bullied a little bit. That's all I'm saying. So those are 3 builds on NBA 2K26 that you can make. We have a 6'11", we have a 7-footer, we have a 7.4. 3 weeks in, these builds are pretty much all over NBA 2K right now. Once again, this was really meant to be a template video, just in case you're looking to make a center. You don't have to copy it word for word, bar for bar. I'll be doing this for point guards and wings, so be on the lookout for those. You all be easy and take care. Peace.